Hey guys, welcome back to another video where today I'm going to show you how you can build this simple and efficient dark oak tree farm for Minecraft 1.16 and above. But before we get into the video, I want to say that you can use the timestamps in the description below to skip straight to the tutorial or to other parts of the videos that you might want to see instead of others. And if you want to, there's also a world download down there if you want to check this farm out in more detail. To turn on the farm, you have to activate this trapdoor, which sends a signal up to this piston, which activates an observer clock. And this observer clock is connected to many things that make the farm run. One of them is this little dropper right here, which is connected to a chest that has all of your bone meal inside of it, which goes down here and up and into the dispenser, which is actually putting the bone meal onto the tree, which is also activated through this dropper right here and from the observer clock. Another thing that is activated by the observer clock is many parts of the sorting system, which we'll get to later. One of them is this dropper right here, as well as the dropper on the other side, and this dropper right here, which will be feeding the saplings to the player through this little area. And another thing that it activates is this honey strip that will be going back and forth that the player will be standing on, so that they can reach all 4 blocks of the dirt to place saplings on up there. Then, another thing that makes this work is the sorting system, which I was talking about earlier, and all of the items just drop down and are put into this water stream, or they're put onto this little area right here. If they land on this trapdoor, they'll be picked up by the player, or if they land on any of these areas, they'll be picked up by the player or the edge of this hopper minecart right here. And as you can see, there's hopper minecarts underneath this dirt, and there's some underneath this trapdoor, just in case they land there, and underneath this obsidian strip, there's also a hopper minecart down there. And all of these hopper minecarts feed down to these droppers, which I mentioned earlier. These activate and feed into the water streams as well as the other items, and then they'll all push into one conjoined water stream right here. Then they're pushed against these honey blocks and against this hopper. This hopper is actually an item sorter for saplings. All of the dark oak saplings will go in here, and none of the items will be able to. And then they'll be pushed into this dropper and fed to the player, which will be right here. Then, down here, the rest of the items will continue down this water stream and be sorted into your chests. You can expand this if you want to, and you could also expand this downwards if you just added more hoppers and chests. And if you want it to be fancy, you could make this into some kind of sorting system. So all of the logs and sticks and apples will be in separate places, but that's not what I've done here. I've just sorted it all into one group of chests. And you can expand this also by adding ice right here with a pressure plate on top, and then put water on the other side, and you could just bring this down as long as you wanted to, and you don't have to have the chest right here either. You could bring this to your base or something like that if you wanted to. And then up here we have the TNT part of the farm, which is a really important part. So when the player places the saplings on this area, it will grow them, and this dispenser is why it grows, because it has the bone meal dispensing into it, which grows the tree. And because it's a dark oak tree, it grows really fast. Then this leaf detects it with this observer, because if there is a log against a leaf, then the observers can detect it, which is a recently new feature, which is pretty cool. And then this observer will detect it, activating this piston, activating this observer down here, which activates a monostable circuit. And the only reason we have this monostable circuit, because obviously an observer activates a one-tick pulse, so you might think this is pointless, but we want this to activate every other time. To activate this redstone repeater every other time. So the first time, it will push this block up right here, and it won't bring it back down, and it will activate this repeater, and the second time, it will pull it back down and won't activate it twice. Then it will feed into this pulse extender right here, which goes all the way up here, and activates our TNT dupers in this block right here, and this pulse extender tells the blocks down here how long to stay extended in order to drop down the TNT at the perfect time to explode as many blocks as possible without breaking anything. And down here, another thing that this pulse extender is connected to is this area right here, and it goes all the way over here, and what this does is it activates these pistons at the second that the TNT explodes, which means that the blocks that are being pushed have 0 blast resistance, and they are exploded very easily by the TNT up there. Another thing that this line activates is this piston right here, which has an observer which feeds into this piston, but it doesn't actually activate it. What this does is it updates the piston just in case if it reaches block limit, which is 12 for pistons and above. And so if there's more than 12 blocks, then that piston will save it from stopping to update, because we need to update it again while it's being powered to be able to push it up after the TNT blows up some blocks and allows the blocks to be pushed up. And down here, it also connects all the way over here onto this pulse extender, and what this does is another safety precaution, just in case if something goes wrong with the farm. This pulse extender will always stay activated, unless if over time this thing stops feeding into it, which is what's detecting if there's any change in this leaf up here, which I mentioned earlier, and then that will turn off, which will activate this redstone torch, which in theory this thing would be off if the farm was on, so this piston would be down, and then it would activate the monostable circuit, which would activate this again, so just in case if there were some blocks in the midst of this right here, which has happened to me during the testing, and I couldn't seem to find any solution to it. If you guys know a solution to it, then please tell me how to do this. I just decided to, just in case I would want to have something like this, just in case the farm messes up like that, then it would push up the blocks and stop that from stopping the farm completely. To use this farm, the first thing you have to do is turn the farm on by clicking on that trapdoor, and then you obviously would be in survival mode, and you would walk over to this trapdoor and open it, and then walk inside, close this trapdoor on top of you, so you can push down, and then walk out to that trapdoor and close it, just like so. Then walk to the back of this little area, and aim like right here on top of these trapdoors, and I'd recommend starting with about 32 vertical saplings, and then just hold right click, just like that, and then you can continue to hold right click a reasonable time, and the trees will explode from the tip, like that, and then you can keep doing this for as long as you want to. Then, once you're done with the farm, you can click this trapdoor once again to stop all of the noise and stop the farm completely. To build this farm, you're going to need 6 stacks and 10 of any type of full block, 1 stack and 13 of any type of block that has a blast resistance of at least 30, such as diorite or stone, 55 of any type of full solid block, 19 of any type of full not solid block, like a transparent block such as glass, 11 of any type of full block that will not stick to slime and honey blocks, 8 honey blocks, 6 obsidian, 4 dirt, 4 of any type of dead coral fan, 3 packed ice, 3 ender chests, 28 of any type of fence gate, 8 of any type of wall, 1 endstone brick wall, and this has to be an endstone brick wall because of its high blast resistance, 13 of any type of wooden trapdoor, 6 iron trapdoors, 1 of any type of sign, 18 chests, 26 hoppers, 9 droppers, 1 dispenser, 1 furnace, or any other type of full solid block that will not stick to slime and honey, 15 observers, 24 slime blocks, 18 sticky pistons, 1 normal piston, 4 blocks of TNT, 2 target blocks, 1 block of redstone, 2 stacks and 4 of redstone dust, 24 redstone repeaters, 11 redstone comparators, 9 of any type of stone pressure plate. This includes the stone and blackstone pressure plates, and the blackstone ones are from the new update, 3 redstone torches, 4 powered rails, 4 detector rails, 18 dark oak saplings, 4 of any type of item that you'll not find inside of a dark oak tree farm. The items that you'll find inside of the farm are the dark oak saplings, the dark oak logs, apples, and sticks, so any item besides that will be perfect for that slot. Then you're going to need at least 2 water buckets, or you could use ice for something like this because you're going to need to place down some water. You're also going to need 7 hopper minecarts and 4 normal minecarts. The first thing you're going to want to do is go 1, 2, 3 blocks up from the ground, and then place the double chest right here. This double chest should be facing the westmost direction of where you want to build your farm. As you can see on the left, it says facing west, and then you're going to want to continue towards the south. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more double chests, just like that, so you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then put a bunch of hoppers against all of these chests, just like that. This should be on the east side. Then put 2 honey blocks on top of the first 2 blocks, and then the rest of them should have stone pressure plates on top. And then place a layer of full blocks against that layer, and then a temporary block right here with 2 blocks against that, and then a block down there with another temporary block right here. This one should have a block right here, and then a block right there. You can break that block and go all the way down this line, and then turn this corner right there. Then come over here and place water against that block, and it should flow until there's a gap at the very end. Then place a block right here with a sign on top, and then you can exit that sign. Then place another block right here, and then some more blocks around it to form a little 2x1 area. And then you can place a temporary light block right there with a block on top to form that little area I was talking about. Then place 2 temporary blocks right there, and then 2 open trapdoors against those blocks. You can break those pieces of glass. Then put water inside of this little area, and then place a block right here. This one is temporary, and then break this block and replace it with a hopper facing against that block. Once you've done that, place 1 honey block above this hopper, and then go out 2 blocks with more honey blocks, and then extend this block down here out 2 blocks as well. Then place a block right here and a block against that one, and this should form a little bit of an L shape, just like that. Then place packed ice on either side of the last block that we placed, and then put pressure plates on top of that. Then come over here and place a block right there and a block right there, and then a temporary block right here, and then we can extend this out to that side. Then you can break this block and put a temporary block right here with a block right there. Then you can break this block and put a water bucket in there. Then extend this wall out until you reach this little area over here, and then place 1 more block and then turn the corner, and you can break this block right here. Then place another block right here and extend this little area out until you reach that wall. Then go a few more blocks out until you reach the end of this little area, and then place a dropper right there with a solid block on the end of it, and then go out 2 more blocks just like that. Then place a temporary block right here and go 1 block upwards, and you can break this block and put a water bucket in here, and it should flow until this pressure plate right there. Then come back over here, place a temporary block right here with blocks on either side of it, and you can break this middle block and go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, and then you're going to want to go 1 more block out, break this block and replace it with a solid block. Then go out until the end on this side and on this side, and break this block. Then you're going to want to place a temporary block right here with a block against it. You can break that block and put a water source right there, and it should flow until that block. Then place a sticky piston facing towards the east direction against that block, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks out from that packed ice, and then extend this wall out until it reaches this edge, and then do the same on this side against that piston. Then place a piece of packed ice right there with a stone pressure plate on top. Then go 1, 2, 3 blocks out from that packed ice, 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks on this side, and then 1, 2, 3 on that side, so that you have a little area like this. Then place a temporary block right here with a block against that side. You can break this temporary block right here. Then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks outwards, 1, 2, 3 blocks out from that side with a dropper right there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks out on that side. Then place a temporary block right here with a block against that. Then you can break this block and put water inside of that little area, as well as over here. Then come back over here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks out from that little area. Place a temporary block right here with blocks on either side. Then you can break this temporary block and extend this out until you reach this edge, and do the same on the other side. Then place a temporary block right here with a block against that. Break that temporary block and put water, and it should flow until this little ledge and shouldn't go over it. Once you've done that, you're going to want to get a block that has a blast resistance of at least 30, like this polished diorite, and you're going to want to place 1 block on that corner and then extend it all the way until you reach the opposite side, just like that, and then continue this until you have a square around the whole thing. So that's that side, and you can go 2 blocks upwards, and then have this wall, break that block, and then do the same on this side, and then you have a complete square of diorite, just like that. Then you're going to want to count from the south side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, and then place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. So you should have 5 blocks right here of air on top, 4 blocks of air on this side. So this is the north side, that's the south side, 4 on the north side, and 5 on the south side. And I just want to make sure, because this is a really important part of the farm, if you build this facing the wrong direction, then it might not work. Then you're going to want to come down here, and you're going to want to fill in this little gap right here, and then you're going to fill in this gap as well, so that it's all the same height, and then put a block right there, and then fill in this little area right here until you reach this area, then fill in that area, and then this little wall right here, and then this little area until you reach that wall over there. Once you've done that, you're going to want to put the fence gates in. So on this side, you're going to want to put 1, 2, just like that, and then you're going to want to skip 2 blocks and then do the rest on this wall. And then all of these should be opened, just like that. Then you're going to want to do a similar thing on the other side, except you're only going to place 1 there, and then skip 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then that's the end. And then you should have all these opened, 1 and then a 2 block gap on the north side, and then 2 and then a 2 block gap on the south side. After that, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks out from this extending platform right here, and then go 2 blocks downwards and 2 blocks out, just like that, and place trapdoors on either side, and then extend this out 2 more blocks on the other side and put trapdoors there as well, and then you can break all these blocks. Once you've done that, you're going to want to place a block right here, and then go out 2 more blocks on that side and 1 block right there, and then place rails on top of all these blocks, and break the rails and the blocks on those 2 sides. Then you should be left with rails in this little pattern right here. Then you're going to want to place a temporary block right here with a grindstone on top of it, and then a grindstone against that, and you can break that block. Then come out here and place blocks against these rails, just like that, and put hopper mine carts on these rails, and they should rub up against those grindstones, just like that. Then you can break all of these blocks and their rails beneath the hopper mine carts, and they should land on the very edge of the trapdoor, just like that. Then you're going to want to place a temporary block right here with a block on the side of it and the block on the other side of it, and then a block next to there. Then put rails on all of these blocks, and then you're going to want to break the side rails and then put a wall right here and a block right there. This one also has to be a wall, and then put blocks on either sides of the walls, and then you can break that block down there, and then put blocks on this block, and then you can break that block down there. Then put the hopper mine carts on those blocks, and they should rub up against those walls, just like that. Then you can break these walls and all of the blocks and rails, just like that, and they should land right next to each other in this little pattern. Then you're going to want to come over here, and you're going to want to place a block right here, and then go 2 more blocks outwards, and then place a block right there, and place rails on all of those blocks, just like we did before. Then you're going to want to break this block and place a grindstone with the grindstone against it, then break that block, then break the rail, and put 2 more blocks on top of that, break this temporary block, and put 2 hopper mine carts right there. Then you can break these blocks, the grindstones, and the rails, just like that. Then you're going to want to come over to these trapdoors and place iron trapdoors on top of the trapdoors on either side. This one's going to be a little bit more tricky because of the hopper mine carts in the way. And then you can place them on top of them just like that, and 1 right there. Then you're going to want to place 4 dirt blocks just like that, and then 2 of your blocks right there. And then you're going to want to go 2 blocks upwards and create a 2x2 platform right here, and then a 2x1 platform right there, and then go under it and place pistons facing downwards on all of these blocks. Then you're going to want to come back up here, then you can break all these glass blocks, and then put the blocks of redstone or something else to power it with right here. Then you can break all these blocks and the pistons, and as you can see, all of the dirt and those blocks are pushed into these hopper mine carts, and it should just look like this. And that means that whenever an item lands on this dirt, it should be picked up just like that. Once you've done that, you're going to want to come over to this dropper, and you're going to want to go out 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks out with your hoppers, and then 2 blocks inwards, just like that, and then come to the other dropper over here, and then go out 3, 4, and then go out in, 3 blocks, just like that, and you should have a hopper line that goes from underneath these hopper mine carts all the way out to over here. Then you're going to want to place a block right here and a transparent block right there, and then powered rails on top of all those blocks. Then place a solid block right here and a block of redstone right there, and then come over to this side and put a furnace on that block right there. Then you're going to want to put obsidian on top of all 4 of these powered rail blocks, and then you're going to want to come over here and place an obsidian against each one of these iron trapdoors. And then make sure to put a hopper mine cart on this line of powered rails. After that, you're going to want to place a temporary block right here with a block below it, and then you can break this block and put a solid block right here, and then place a temporary block right here with a solid block right there, and then a block down there, and a solid block right there. You can break this block. Then you're going to want to place a redstone comparator on this top block, and then go 2 blocks down with some redstone dust. Then you're going to want to place a redstone repeater facing out in this direction, and then a redstone torch on that block. Then you're going to want to open this hopper and put 18 dark oak saplings, and then 4 of any block that you'll not find in this farm. And the things that you'll find in this farm are the dark oak saplings, obviously, the dark oak logs, sticks, and apples. So any block besides that should work, unless if you're throwing other things into the system that would go in here. So you can play it safe by doing something like cobblestone or red stained glass like I've done here. Then you're going to want to go downwards 1 block and then out 1, 2 blocks. Then you're going to want to place a dropper facing upwards, and you can break all these temporary blocks and then place a hopper against this dropper and then go out 1, 2 more blocks, and I accidentally placed the hopper right there. Then you're going to want to go up 1, 2 more droppers and then place a dropper facing in that direction towards this little area in the middle. Then place a block that will not stick to slime blocks down here, such as leaves, and then place a temporary block right here and a trapdoor facing in this direction so it opens like that. Then you're going to want to open this trapdoor and break this temporary block, and then place another trapdoor down here. It opens like that, and you can leave this one open and close the top one so you have a shape like that. Then place a block on either side of that trapdoor down there so you have an enclosed area. Then come down here and place some honey blocks going outwards, and then 2 blocks just like that. Break the first one and place a sticky piston facing inwards, and you can break that block. Then you're going to want to place a leaf block on top of that block. Then place a block right here, and then a block against that. This one has to be an iron trapdoor, and then another iron trapdoor against that. So you have a little shape like that, and this trapdoor should be level with the top of this obsidian block. Then go 2 blocks out from the bottom part of this little area that sticks up a little bit, just like we did when we did this little area over here. And then you're going to want to go down 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then place a trapdoor underneath this block, and you can break all these blocks and place an observer on top of this block, and then a upwards facing sticky piston with an observer facing in this direction. Then place a temporary block right there with an observer against that, and then you can break that block and put another observer against that observer, and then a dropper against that observer with a dispenser against that dropper. Then you're going to want to come down here and then place 2 downwards facing observers, then an observer facing towards the side. That faces into an upwards facing dropper, and then another upwards facing dropper on top of that dropper, and it should make a little bit of an L shape with these droppers and dispensers. Then you're going to want to come down here and place a hopper right here with a chest right here, and then a chest against that. And then this is where you're going to want to put all of your bone meal in. After that, place an observer against this bottom observer right here, and then place a solid block against that, and then a temporary block right here with a block underneath it. And you can break this block and go 1, 2 blocks outwards just like that, and then go all the way down here until you reach 1 block away from this dropper right here, and then place a solid block right there and place redstone dust across all of these blocks. After that, place a trapdoor underneath that observer, and then an observer against that with a solid block behind it, and then a temporary block behind that. Then go 1 block downwards and break that temporary block and go 2 blocks outwards. Then place a block up here. This one is temporary, and then go 1, 2 blocks out to the side, and then place a block right there with a solid block right there. And you can break this temporary block and put redstone across all these blocks except for the one near the piston. And then on this one we're going to put a redstone repeater that is on 4 ticks right there. Then put an observer against this redstone dust, and then a trapdoor underneath this solid block with an observer right there. And then come back up here and place a block right here with a piece of redstone dust on here. Once you've done that, place a leaf block right there with an observer going out of it. Then place a block right there with a piston facing downwards underneath it, just like that. Then place a temporary block right there with an observer going out of it, and you can break that temporary block. Then place a sticky piston facing upwards right there, and then a solid block going out of that observer and above that sticky piston. Then place a block right here with a repeater on it, and this repeater should be on 4 ticks. Then place a block against that repeater, and then go 1 temporary block out, and then 1 block downwards, and then place a solid block right there, and break this block and put a solid block right there. Then put a piece of redstone dust on that block. Then you're going to want to place a temporary block right there, and then a block below it. Break that temporary block and put a redstone repeater on that block. This one is on 1 tick, unlike the other one. Then you're going to want to place a temporary block right here with a block below it, then break that temporary block and go 1, 2, 3 blocks outwards, then go 1, 2, 3 blocks against those blocks, and then place a solid block right there. Then place 2 pieces of redstone dust on either side of this little platform, and then 2 redstone comparators going in that direction, and 2 redstone comparators going in that direction. After that, place a temporary block right there with a solid block below it, and then break this temporary block. Then place another temporary block right there with a block below it, break that temporary block, and then go another block outwards. Then place some redstone dust on all of those blocks, and a target block against the side of this last block. Then you're going to want to go 1 temporary block outwards, and then place a solid block, and then go another temporary block outwards, another solid block, another temporary block outwards, another solid block, and another temporary block outwards, and a solid block right there. Then underneath all of these temporary blocks, go 1 block underneath them, just like that, and you can break all of these blocks. Then place a redstone repeater on this block. This one should be on 3 ticks, just like that, and then the other ones should be on 4 ticks on all of these other blocks. Then you're going to want to place a temporary block right here, and then a block below it, break this block and go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks outwards, then come back over here, and then place a redstone repeater right here on 4 ticks, and you should do the same on all the rest of these blocks. Then you're going to want to place a solid block right here with a temporary block against that, and go 1 block downwards with a block right there. Then break that block, and place a repeater right here, just on 4 ticks. Then you're going to want to place a sticky piston underneath that block, and then a block right here with a redstone repeater going into it, and a solid block against that end block. Then place redstone dust on top of those blocks until you reach this area where you're 1 block below the piston, and then place a solid block right there. Then you're going to want to place a temporary block right there, and a temporary block against that. Then break that first temporary block and put an observer facing towards that one, and another observer facing towards the other one. Then you're going to break that block, and you should have 2 observers facing towards each other. Then you're going to want to come over here and place a block against that redstone dust, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks out from that, and place redstone dust on all of those blocks. Then go 2 blocks out on this side, and then 1 block out with a solid block. Then place a piece of redstone dust right there, and then 2 redstone repeaters on these blocks. These should be on 2 ticks. Then you're going to want to place a temporary block right here, go 1 block downwards, and then a block next to that. Then place another temporary block right there with a block against that, and you can break both of those temporary blocks. Then you're going to want to go out 1 more block, and then go 2 blocks outwards again, and then 2 blocks outwards right there as well. And then bring the redstone going all the way around, just like that. And then 2 repeaters that are all both on 2 ticks, just like on the other side. Then you're going to want to place 2 solid blocks right there, with sticky pistons facing upwards on top of those, and then 2 more solid blocks right there, with 2 more upwards facing sticky pistons. Once you've done that, come to this repeater that is behind this monostable circuit, and place a block behind the block that is behind it, and then a block under this one. That one has to be a solid block. Then you can break this block, and place a block right here. Then go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks outwards from that block, and then place a block on the side, and go 1, 2, 3 blocks inwards, and then you should have this little rectangle. Then place redstone dust on those 2 blocks, and then redstone dust on the opposite side. Then you're going to want to come over here and place redstone comparators facing this direction on that side, and on this direction on the opposite side. Then place a target block on the end of that piece of redstone dust, and then a redstone torch against that, with a block right here and redstone dust on top of that, a sticky piston right here with a solid block on top, then a block right here with a redstone repeater on it. This redstone repeater should be on 4 ticks. Then place a solid block against that redstone repeater with a piece of redstone dust on top. Then against this redstone dust, place a block against that with redstone dust on top, and a block against that piece of redstone dust with more redstone dust on top, and that should connect up to the circuit up here. After that, place 2 transparent blocks on top of this double chest, and then reach this wall with some more blocks. Then you're going to want to place a block right here with a block against that, and then fill in these blocks right here to create a gap right here where this observer is. Then you're going to want to place a block right here and fill it in on this side. After that, you're going to want to fill in this entire area with blocks that is within this little band around this area. So fill in this whole wall around here and all the way out until this back block. Then place a temporary block right there, and then place 2 temporary blocks just like in that shape. Then you're going to want to come over here and place a water block right there then skip a block and place another one, and then if you were in survival mode, you could take out this middle block, and then it would form back again, and then you could put another one over here, and another one over there, or if you wanted to, you could just spam inside of it, and you'll get the same job, but it's more efficient to do it the way I was speaking of. Then you're going to want to do the same thing over here, so every other block, put a water source. Then you should end up with something like that on both sides, and then you can break all these temporary blocks. Then you're going to want to come over here and place a block of water right next to this redstone block, and then a block of water behind this piston down there. Then you're going to want to come over here, and you're going to want to place temporary blocks going all along the sides of these walls, and a temporary block down there. Then you're going to want to place 2 trapdoors right here, open them, and then put water inside of them. Wait for them to go all the way down, and then you can break all these blocks, including the one inside of this observer. And then you should end up with water flowing down just like this. Once you've done that, you're going to want to come to this iron trapdoor that is closest to the edge of this water stream area where it rises up a block, and you're going to want to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 temporary blocks. Then you're going to want to place an endstone brick wall on that side, an ender chest on either side, and then an ender chest on top, but nothing on the back, and you can break all these temporary blocks. And then you're going to have to make sure that this endstone brick wall is facing towards the north, and this is really important because this basically decides if you've built your farm in the correct orientation, and it's a very easy way to tell. And then there should be nothing on the south side, and an ender chest on the west and east sides, and one on the top. Once you've done that, place a transparent block against that piece of redstone dust with another piece of redstone dust on top of that, and then against this piece of redstone dust, place a block right there with a block on the side and pieces of redstone dust on both of those blocks. Then place a solid block right there with a temporary block behind it, and then another solid block behind that. Then underneath, place a block below it, break this temporary block and place a redstone repeater right here, and leave this one on 1 tick. Then place a piece of redstone dust right there with a block on the side of it, and then a piece of redstone dust on top. Once you've done that, you're going to want to go 1 block upwards with a transparent block, and then you're going to want to go 1 transparent block, 1 redstone, 2 transparent blocks, 2 redstone, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just like that. So you should have 6 transparent blocks, all with redstone dust on top of them, going upwards. And then you're going to want to place a transparent block against the side of this piece of redstone dust. And then you're going to want to do that same pattern until you reach the top block. Oops. Just like that. Then you're going to want to place a block against the side of this piece of redstone dust with a piece of redstone dust on top, and another block against that side, and then a redstone repeater right there with a solid block on the end of it. Then you're going to want to place a piece of redstone dust on top of that with a block on the end, another piece of redstone dust on top of that, and another block on the end with another piece of redstone dust on top. Then place 2 transparent blocks on top of both those sides of those blocks. Then you're going to want to place another piece of redstone dust right there, and another one right there. And then you're going to want to place another transparent block on top with another piece of redstone dust, then a solid block against the side of that block, and then a temporary block right here with a solid block on that side, a block downwards, and then break this block and put a redstone repeater right here on 3 ticks. After that, place a piece of redstone dust on top of that solid block with a block against the side of that block, and then go 1 more block outwards. Then place a redstone repeater, this one should be on 1 tick, on that block, and then a piece of redstone dust on the other block. Then place a block against that, and then you're going to want to go 1 block outwards on this side, and then 2 block outwards on the other side. Then place redstone dust on top of all of those blocks, and go 1 solid block outwards on this side with the temporary block right there, and then a solid block below it. Break this block. Then you're going to do the exact same thing on this edge, so a solid block right here, a temporary block right here, and a solid block below it. Then break this block and put redstone dust on all of these blocks. Then you're going to want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks outwards with a solid block right here, a temporary block right here, and then go 1 block downwards. This one should also be a solid block. Then you can break this temporary block and put redstone dust across all of these blocks. Then you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks outwards with a solid block on the end, and then a temporary block right here with a solid block below it. Break this block and put redstone dust across all of these blocks. Then go 1 temporary block downwards from that block, and then another block downwards. Then break that temporary block and put a solid block right there with a temporary block on the side and another solid block underneath that. Break that temporary block and then place a temporary block right here with a block underneath it, and then go one block outwards, just like that. This last block should be a solid block. Then put redstone dust on all of those blocks. Then you're going to want to come over here and place a solid block against that piece of redstone dust with a block on top of that, and then another block on top of that one. Then you're going to want to go one temporary block outwards, one block downwards from that, break that temporary block, and then do that once again, just like that. Then you're going to want to go one block out to the side and one block downwards, then break this block and go one solid block outwards, then put redstone dust on top of all those blocks. After that, you're going to want to go one temporary block outwards on both of those sides and one block downwards, and these blocks have to have a blast resistance of at least 30. Then you're going to want to go out 1, 2, 3 on both of the sides. Then you're going to want to go out 2 blocks, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 of those blocks as well. After that, you're going to want to put redstone dust on top of all of those blocks on both sides. And then you're going to want to place a solid block on the end of both sides. Then place a sticky piston against that block with a block in front of it and a block above that with a block that will not stick to slime blocks, and I'm going to use leaves for this, on top of that block, and then a temporary block in the middle with a leaf block on the inside, and then a block right here with a block above that. Then place a wall against the side, break this block and put a fence gate inside and open that. Then you're going to want to come over here and do the exact same thing except facing inwards. So place a sticky piston right here with a block in front of it, a block above that, and a leaf above that. Then put a temporary block right here with a block right here and a block above that and a leaf in the inside right there. Then place a wall on this side, break this block and put a fence gate right here, which should be opened. Then we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. So sticky piston right here with 2 blocks right there, leaf on top, a temporary block right here, a leaf on this side, 2 blocks right there, wall right there, and a fence gate in the middle, open it. Then you're going to want to do the same thing on this side. So sticky piston, 2 blocks upwards, leaf, a block right there, with 2 blocks on this side, a leaf in the inside, wall on the outside, and then a fence gate in the middle, which should be opened. Once you've done that, you're going to want to place a sticky piston against that block with a slime block right here, and then a slime block underneath that, and a slime block to the side, with a temporary block right there, and a slime block against that. Then break that block, and then go underneath the block, and place a block on the side. Then you should have 2 L shapes like that. And then down here, you're going to want to place a TNT block right there, with a dead coral fan right there, and a wall on top of that, with a detector rail right here, and a minecart right there. Then power this and depower that. Then you're going to want to do the same thing over here. So sticky piston, slime block L shape right here, temporary block, and then another L shape on the inside. Then TNT right there, coral fan right there, wall on top, detector rail with a minecart, and then power this and unpower it. Then come over here and do the same. So sticky piston right there, slime block L shape right there, block right there, and then another slime block L shape right here. Then a dead coral fan, TNT right there, diorite wall, and then a detector rail right there with a minecart on top, power it and then depower it, then do the same thing over here, sticky piston with slime blocks right there, then a temporary one right there, block right there, another L shape right here, TNT right there, dead coral fan right there, wall on top, detector rail, and a minecart on top of that, then power it and depower it. Once you've done that, the farm is complete, so if you like this video, then please leave a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!